I'm not sure why we're doing the critical race theory thing. I saw this video where a lady was reading a book to some children, talking about how when she went out, this is a little girl, how she went out, people would smile at her, and she had to recognize that she has privilege that other little kids don't have because she has white skin. This is a children's book that is being read in some classroom. And this is why I have a problem with critical race theory. Do you really think that little black kids need to hear that? Coming from an authority, that they're limited, that they don't have options. God effed up, made them black, so they're going to have a really hard life. We really need to do that? When I was a teacher, I would make kids get in front of the mirror and say good things about themselves. If they said a negative thing about themselves, I would immediately make them say 3 nice things about themselves. If they said it to another person, I would make them give them 3 compliments. We didn't do limitations. We didn't do negative talk. And I really feel like it helped them. I remember being in school and we would go over the slave thing. What grade was that? It was definitely somewhere in elementary school. And I remember feeling bad whenever these lessons would come up. It's slave time again. And it'd be every year. Every year they would go over it. And I don't know. I never felt shame or any kind of diminishment until those moments in class when, I'm usually like the only black kid in these scenarios that I'm thinking of, and it just always felt bad. Why do we want little fucking kids to feel bad? What do you get out of that? And conversely, some of the worst people I've ever encountered are white people who feel like they're better than me. I've had some acquaintances try to patiently explain to me why they have privilege. And I'll just shoot down their ideas, shoot down their little frickin' reasons. And they still don't get it. That was very offensive. That was rude, You telling me why you're better than me, it's offensive. And I'm not easily offended. I know, you may think you're doing good or whatever, but, seriously, get over yourself. You're not better than me because you have white skin. You do not have a better shake at life because you have white skin. No. I can tell you so many times when I can tell I get treated better than a lot of other people. When I go into places, they remember me, they remember my name, I remember my order. It's ridiculous. I get treated really well. Why don't they want to tell my story? Why don't they tell stories about successful black people? Critical race theory is absolute bullshit. It doesn't want you to have any value in what you do. No meritocracy. It doesn't like color blindness. You're supposed to see color. And it's got the nerve to say that if you are a successful black person, it's because you're now white. You've morphed into whiteness if you are successful living in this white supremacist country. It's just like the black people saying, Bernie, you're just trying to be white. I love being black. I would never want, if I were to, I'm not having children, but I wouldn't want my kid to go into a classroom and come out with less of a self-esteem. This has not been tested. You do not know how this is going to affect children. I can tell you the little bit of critical race theory that I received did not benefit me. It made me feel bad. Why do we want that for our little children? Why do we even want them to be burdened with this? There are better things that they could be learning in school. Budgeting, taxes, how to run a business, how to have etiquette, sit at a table, how to play silverware. There are so many things. How to write a letter. Kids don't know how to write a letter. Grammar, you, your, you are. There's so many little issues that people are having well into adulthood where you can just tell that our school system missed the boat. Critical thinking. There are other countries, like England, where they actually teach critical thinking. There's so much more that our kids could be learning instead of critical race theory. Thank God for Texas, because we're not putting up with the shit. Nope, we don't want it. We don't want our kids to think about that kind of thing. There are better things that they could be doing. Art, acting, music, auto mechanics, woodworking, home economics, learn how to cook, learn how to clean. People are missing that. Learn how to be a good friend. And one good way to be a friend is to not remind someone of a history that they never experienced. One guy was so clever. It was on Facebook, and I'll show you the meme later on this week. And he was like, so why do I need to be reminded of that? And the person's like, oh, it's just to let you know that wasn't that long ago that there was slavery. And he said, well, that's great. Now, why do I need to be reminded of that? How does that help me? Now that you reminded me, what's my next step? No answer. All they want to do is conjure up negative emotions and have conversations that go nowhere, because there is nowhere to go. It's an individual thing. Life is what you make it, no matter what your skin color is. I'm looking at a homeless white guy right over there holding up a little cardboard sign. There's a whole group of them on the other side of this building, and they all happen to be white. Where did their privilege go? They had all these opportunities in life. What happened? Well, they didn't make the most of what they had. They didn't get over their childhood trauma, perhaps. Life is what you make it. That's what we need to be teaching kids. Not, oh, all your ancestors are the oppressors, therefore you're the oppressor. Don't you feel bad, little girl? You've got all these benefits, and your little black friend over there doesn't. I went to private school. I grew up in the suburbs. And I don't feel like I'm better than anyone, and I don't feel like I'm worse than anyone. Go live your life. Look your best. Smell good. Hold your head up high. Speak standard English. And give a shit about yourself. Teaching people to not care about themselves because they were born black is toxic. It's evil. We do not have time for critical race theory in the classroom, and it doesn't need to be embedded in math. At my Christian school, we had Christian math, where they would embed Christianity into math problems, and it was absurd. Same thing with critical race theory. Like I say, you could talk about slavery in school as a small part of history. As a kid is a lot older, they're going to know about it anyway. But also talk about all the other people that were slaves. Talk about all the other colors that owned slaves. Talk about the black people that owned slaves. Talk about the Jewish people that owned slaves. Don't just demonize white people. What about biracial people? This is so dumb. Critical race theory is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of, and that's coming from a teacher. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you to all my Patreons. Thank you to everyone who donated to me. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.